Hello everyone, my name is Nurhaliza Putri. My student ID is 083. So today I'm going to tell you about my article summary. So I have been reviewed about 10 articles. So here are the list of the articles. And so let's move on to the first article. So in this article, the author argues that for learning to be effective, especially in English, teachers need to use the right strategies. And one of the most important strategies today is using digital technology to make lessons more engaging and efficient. And for example, by using ebooks or learning apps, while there might be some negative sides, it's up to educators to use technology wisely. So, why does this article matter? It's really for English teachers, especially those who might find it challenging to use digital tools in their classroom. It encourages them to use these tools to create meaningful and engaging learning experiences. So, the weaknesses of this article is the study used a small group of people, so the findings might not apply everywhere. Also, it relies on what people said about themselves, which can sometimes be biased. And then the strengths from this article, it provides clear numbers and well-organized tables from surveys. And the topic is very current and important in education today. It also gives useful tips for using digital tools in English classes. Okay, second article, Innovative Teaching Strategies in Teaching English as a Foreign Language. The author is EJA PT Novitasari Parag. The author emphasizes that we should move away from traditional teacher-led methods to more dynamic and interactive ones. The article concludes that these innovative strategies, especially cooperative learning and project-based learning, can really boost student motivation, interaction, and practical language use, making learning more meaningful and long-lasting. And why this article is a practical guide for English teachers, teacher educators, and curriculum designers who want to make their classes more engaging and motivate students using modern teaching ideas. It helps them understand which methods are effective and why. And we're going to show you the weaknesses from this article. It doesn't include new classroom data as it's only based on reviewing existing literature. It might not cover specific challenges found in different teaching environments. And from the strengths, it brings together many different studies and offers lots of practical examples. The methods discussed can be easily used in various classroom situations. Okay, so the next article, which is the third, is EFL learners and teachers' perceptions of AI-powered language learning technologies, benefits and challenges by Claudia Benek. So, this article explores the idea that while AI tools can enhance language learning for students, teachers might struggle to use them due to ethical concerns, tool limitations, or simply not fitting their curriculum. The study concludes that most students find AI tools helpful for personalized and flexible learning. However, teachers face significant challenges, especially with ethical concerns and fitting AI into educational goals. And why it matters. This article is highly relevant for English teachers looking to integrate AI into their lessons, educational teach developers interested in user feedback, and curriculum designers working on technology-enhanced learning plans. It helps them understand the real challenges and opportunities of using AI in English language teaching. And this is for the weaknesses. The study used a small group of people, so the findings might not apply everywhere. Also, it relies on what people said about themselves, which can sometimes be biased. And the strengths, it provides clear numbers and well-organized tables from the survey. The topic is very current and important in education today. It also gives useful tips for using AI tools in English classes. So, the weaknesses and the strengths is almost same with the previous articles. Okay, so the fourth article titled Language Learning Strategies of Undergraduate EFL Students. And the writers is Mega Lestari and Ahmad Yudi Wahyudin. So, this study investigates the common language learning strategies used by university English students. It specifically looks at which types of strategies like thinking about learning, metacognitive, social strategies, compensation, and emotional strategies. So they are used most and least often. The article concludes that students mostly use metacognitive and social strategies, and teachers should try to match their teaching with how students prefer to learn. And this why it matters. This article is important for English teachers, curriculum designers, and language researchers because it gives useful insight into how students learn. The findings help educators adjust their teaching methods to better align with students' preferred learning strategies, which could potentially improve language acquisition outcomes. For the weaknesses, the study was only done at one university and relies on what students said about themselves. It doesn't include deeper insights from interviews or observing classes. And for the strengths of this article, which is the pointless, it provides detailed tables and statistical analysis about how strategies are used. It offers practical advice for teachers and those who plan lessons. Okay, so the fifth article, Identifying English as a Foreign Language Students' Attitude to Improving Speaking Skills Through Collaboration by Ali Abbas, Fala Al-Zubi, Moh Nazim, and Jalal Ahmad. So, the study examines the role of supportive environments, constructive feedback, and technology integration in enhancing speaking abilities. They believe that positive attitudes toward collaboration, along with supportive peers and technology, are key factors. The authors conclude that English students generally like learning together to boost their speaking skills. Interviews shows that fun activities, teamwork, and using technology really help improve speaking. And they suggest using group work more to help with speaking and other language skills. So in this article, it's important for English teachers, language program coordinators, and curriculum designers. It shows that learning together really helps improve students' speaking abilities and makes them more motivated. And then for the weaknesses from this article, the number of students in the study was small and it didn't deeply explore the downsides of group work. The findings might not apply to all English learning situations. And for the strengths, it uses both numbers and student stories for complete analysis. It gives both statistical results and detailed insights from students. And for the sixth article, Reading Interest and Speaking Skills Enable Students, a correlation study with CEFR approach and demographic analysis by Rizky Dwi Amrina and Hamsatun Nafia. So, the authors argue that there is a significant relationship between students' interest in reading and their speaking skills. They suggest that students who have a higher interest in reading are likely to show better speaking skills, as reading can improve vocabulary, grammar, and overall language understanding, which are essential for good oral communication. The study concludes that students who enjoy reading more usually speak English better too, showing a clear link between the two. And then, why it matters. This article is important for English teachers, curriculum designers, and language education researchers. It highlights the importance of encouraging reading interest to improve speaking proficiency and helps inform the design of more effective language programs. The use of the CEFR framework gives a solid, reliable way to measure speaking ability. The weaknesses from this article, the study had a small number of participants and only used numerical data. It doesn't include charts or graphs, only tables. And then for the strengths, it uses international standards like CEFR and a clear systematic way to analyze numbers. It also considers demographic factors for a more complete understanding. Okay, so for the seventh article, English as a Foreign Language, EFL Students' Perception of Blended Learning at EIN Palangkaraya by Desi Rahmiati and Joni Bungai, also Miss Rita. So, the authors argue that understanding students' perceptions in the classroom is crucial for motivating them to learn English. By recognizing these perceptions, teachers can select appropriate methods like blended learning based on what students need. The study concludes that most fifth semester English education students at EIN Palangkaraya had a positive perception of blended learning. They recommend teachers use blended learning to enhance teaching and encourage students to use it for better motivation and understanding. And why it matters, this article provides practical recommendations for educators on how to optimize blended learning to meet students' needs and preferences. And then for the weaknesses from this article, the findings are only from one school, so they might not apply everywhere. It also doesn't look at the long-term effects of blended learning. And then for the strengths, it provides clear numerical analysis with tables showing different response categories, so it focuses on a specific institution, giving detailed insights. Okay, so the 8th article, Feedback Challenges and Strategies in EFL Classroom, Insight from Non-Formal Education Institution, by Muhammad Hidayat Umalihayati, Hilman, and Aditya Rahman. So, the authors argue that feedback plays a crucial role in supporting successful teaching and learning in English classrooms. The authors conclude that despite these challenges, teachers handle them by appreciating students, giving clear follow-up and direct comments. They stress that feedback is important and suggest future research on using technology for it. And this article offers practical solutions for improving feedback practice, which are essential for effective language learning. And then for the weaknesses from this article, the study only included a small group from one informal institution. The result might not apply to formal school settings. And for the strengths, it uses detailed interviews with teachers to get real-world insights, and it focuses on informal education settings which are not often studied. Okay, the next is the 9th article, Discovering EFL Graduate Students' Difficulties and Strategies During Self-Directed Web-Based Listening Activities, by Muhammad Aziz Muslim and Siti Drivoka Sulistianingrum. Okay, so the study aims to uncover the difficulties faced and the strategies used by master students in English language education during self-guided web-based listening activities, especially at higher CEFR levels like B2, C1, and C2. The study concludes by highlighting these specific difficulties and the practical strategies students use, providing insights into how advanced learners manage self-directed online listening. So this article is important because it helps educators understand the specific challenges of online listening tasks, particularly for advanced learners. This understanding can inform the development of targeted support strategies and better online learning materials. And then the weaknesses, the study was limited to one program and didn't include detailed qualitative analysis. The findings might not apply to less advanced students or other situations. And for the strengths, it provides clear numerical data and focuses on advanced learners. It highlights practical strategies that students actually use. The last article, which is the 10th article, EFL students' perspective on their self-efficacy in speaking during online learning process, by Arista Ananda Ninggias and Lilia Indriani. The authors argue that self-efficacy, or how much students believe in their own ability, really matters for English students when it comes to speaking English during online classes. They believe that students who feel more confident about their speaking skills will perform better, even though online learning can be tough. The study concludes that most students have a pretty strong sense of self-efficacy when it comes to speaking in online classes, showing overall strong confidence in their speaking abilities. And why it matters. This article provides valuable insights into students' confidence level, which is crucial for designing effective online speaking interventions and support system. And here are the weaknesses. The study had a small number of students from only one university. The findings are based on what students state about themselves, so they might not cover all experiences. And then for the strengths, it includes detailed tables about different aspects of self-confidence, and it offers practical information for helping students in online learning. Okay, so let's move on to the interconnection linking all articles. By grouping these articles into themes like this, we see how they collectively highlight the interconnected elements shaping modern EFL education, offering insight to continuously improve teachings and learning practices. So by looking at all these articles together, we get a much clearer picture of what's happening in English language learning and teaching today. We see how technology, like teaching methods, student characteristics, and different learning places all work together. And most importantly, all this research aims to give us ideas to keep making English education better. So this brings us to the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.